I got that mo better blues, I wanna do better. I got that mo better blues, I wanna do better. I got that mo better blues, I wanna do better. My aim set for the sky, so I wrote 2 letters.
Happiness is peace. It's not pleasure, right? And everybody thinks happiness is trying to get as much pleasure as you can get. There is nothing more agitating to your mind than extreme pleasure. It's like peace.
Yo, what up, YouTube? Welcome to Sinn-Take, man. My name is Jason, coming back with another one, man. Happy Sunday. But real fast, though, you got Will Smith, right? In that clip, just talking about how happiness is peace. You know what I mean? Vice versa, peace is happiness, you know? Because, you know, check it. Like, a lot of people think that happiness involves pleasure all the time. People think that happiness involves being, you know, just extremely overwhelmed with a bunch of pleasure, you know, and we know what pleasure is, you know, sex, you know what I mean? The pleasure people get from drugs, you know, just the pleasure they get from just having just all of this fun just all the time. You know, to some people, they think that that is happiness, and that is not happiness. You know what I mean? Happiness is peace, to be able to just sit there and just chill out and take everything in, you know. And that's the problem with a lot of people these days. They just want to experience pleasure all the time. And like he said, that wouldn't even be good for the mind. You know what I mean? Because for one, you just want to release dopamine. And that's what releases in your brain when you're getting pleasure. And if you want to, that's what's connected to fapping. You know what I mean? That is connected to fapping. You know what I mean? When you sitting there watching porn, and then when you finally release, and then you get that dopamine release, and that is what becomes addictive, like drugs. It's brief. You would be surprised. Like a lot of, if you watched any experts talk or any drug addicts talk, right? The experience they feel when they do drugs, when you do a lot of drugs and different drugs, some of those drugs are very brief. That dopamine release is very brief. And because it's so brief, you know, that's why people keep doing it. That's why people keep doing it. They go through so much drugs, even weed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could be high for a little while, but that's why weed smokers smoke so much, because they want to keep getting that dopamine release. That's why people do so much cocaine or even crack. You know what I mean? You hear a crackhead talk. Crackheads, they can sit there and smoke crack all day because that release is so brief that they want to keep getting it. And then a lot of people do so much drugs, right, to where their tolerance go up. So it's going to make them do more drugs, and they have more of an effect on their body in a bad way. So that's what he mean. Like, you know, I mean, just experiencing extreme pleasure all the time would just be irritating to the mind. You know what I'm saying? That's not good for anybody. That's why pleasure is not peace. Pleasure is not happiness. You know what I'm saying? And there's no way that that's all you want to do, but that's where they get it misconstrued. People think that experiencing pleasure all the time is happiness, and that's not happiness. You know what I mean? Watching your kids grow, that's happiness. You know what I mean? There's so many other things, you know, completing something that you've been working on for a long time, that's happiness. You know what I mean? Praising the Most High, that is happiness, you know, and peace, just being able to soak things up, you know what I mean, and take in life for what it is. That is peace, that is happiness. But just sitting there having fun all day, pleasure, dopamine release, drugs, sex, party, that is not happiness. That's somebody that can't even stop moving, can't even just pause for a second to enjoy life and be thankful for what they have already. Instead, they just go on this fucking just pleasure binger. You know what I mean? Like drugs and alcohol. Like drugs. It's just like drugs. You know, sex. You know, you want to have sex. You want to just have pleasure. And that's not happiness. That's what Will Smith is saying. That's not happiness. That's not happiness at all. And when you see people, right? You see people that chase pleasure all the time. And in a lot of those cases, right? They not successful in life. They not happy. They not happy because and they need the pleasure. When it comes down to where you need pleasure, you know what I'm saying? Where you absolutely have to have it. Those are the ones that go into depression. Those are the ones that do a lot of drugs. You know, they popping pills so they could get a dopamine release. They having sex so they could get a dopamine release. They drinking so they could have a dopamine release. They smoking so they could have a dopamine release. They just doing so many things. They can't even sit still because that's all they want to run around doing. You know, like grown kids, like big kids. You know what I'm saying? Like how kids just want to have fun. That's how you have these adults out here because they got life fucked up. They got life fucked up. They think it's supposed to be fun all the time. They think it's supposed to be fun all the time. And that's why when you talk to them like that, when you know, as a grown man, somebody that's out here trying to make something that they sell, somebody that's out here trying to elevate, somebody that just wants a life full of pleasure, they not going to see where you coming from. They're not going to understand you. They're going to be looking at you while you telling them all these things that you're trying to do and accomplish in your life. And they're going to be like, well, what does that have to do with fun? What does that have to do with pleasure and releasing dopamine? They not going to get it. They don't understand where you come from. They don't understand the happiness in general. They don't understand happiness. You know, they don't understand peace. They not trying to take in and sit there and, you know, enjoy life and take it in for what it is, the beauty of life. They don't care about the beauty of life. They don't care about none of that shit. They like, fuck that. Where's the hoes at? Where's the motherfucking drugs at? And all that other shit. Because if it ain't about them getting pleasure, then they don't want to hear nothing about it. They gonna sit there, you gonna be fucking speaking Chinese to them. They gonna be speaking Chinese you gonna be speaking Chinese to them because they don't understand life. They don't. You know, and in most cases, y'all gotta understand too, when y'all be trying to talk to people like how I just explained, when you try to talk to them, listen, you wasting your breath. You wasting your breath because they not gonna be able to comprehend. They already, in a lot of these cases, you got to understand that a lot of them, they've been living like this for so long. They've been living like this for so long that it ain't no getting through to them. They already gone. They already gone. So trying to talk somebody into into these conversations is pointless. It's pointless because they already passed the point of no return. Their growth is already stunted. Their growth is already stunted. You know what I mean? And what people don't talk about is how drugs and all this escapism stunt your growth. You know what I mean? And even to the extent of fapping and watching porn, that stunts your growth. Because you releasing all of these vitamins and life force and energy that you need. So when you releasing all that energy that you need, then guess what? You know what I mean? Your growth is gonna be stunted. You know what I mean? And that's just how it is. You can't talk to somebody that's not on that same plane as you because they're not gonna get it. So that's what Will Smith is trying to say. And I wanted y'all to see that too, because a lot of people have life messed up that way, to where they think that that's the only way that they should be able to experience life and have happiness is just through having pleasure all the time. And if that's the case, then you're not going to have too much peace and happiness in life because you're going to be too busy chasing after something that's not good for you. And that's my word, man. My name J-Sin and Sinn-Take. Holla at y'all later, man. Peace.
I got that mo better blues, I wanna do better. Yes. I got that mo better blues, I wanna do better. I got that mo better blues, I wanna do better. Right. My aim set for the sky, so I wrote 2 letters.